Well, Wednesdays here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. Joining us now is volunteer Ruth Ready. Nice to have you here today, Ruth.
Good morning.
How's everything in Northeast Nebraska?
Well, it's moving along towards harvest. We've got a few people out in the field doing some soybeans, and of course silage has been cut from some cornfields, and so we're kind of gearing up and getting ready. The combine's getting prepped and we're ready to roll when we need to.
Oh, yeah, and you're from the Scribner area, so
Right.
We want to ask you though, consumers are bombarded with messages about the food they eat, about agriculture. How can consumers make sure the sources where they're getting these messages are credible?
Well, it's really confusing because they can come through what they think is a credible source, and then ultimately when they look at the story a little further and see where this information is coming from, you have to really be discerning. And we know that through Common Ground, the sources that we use and rely on are credible. A lot of times if you can look and find that it's a university-backed research, those are good, credible sources. And a lot of it is just finding out what the goal of the information is. In this particular case that kind of brought this to mind for me this week was that the group had a particular goal in mind with this story, and the information they were providing was not factual or research-based, but they made it sound like that because they had a different goal in mind. So you really have to look to the source, and if people aren't sure where to go, we'd invite them to contact Common Ground, and if we can't find if we don't have the answer, we can find it. We know credible sources for a lot of different food questions that people might have.
Ruth, what are some of the questions that you hear as a volunteer with Common Ground?
Well, the one in particular that was discussed was about a disease in chickens, which it was not a disease at all. It was just a matter of how chickens are produced and how they grow with the modern genetics that we have. Other things we talk about are things that are advertised on food packages, whether it may, says use no steroids or antibiotics or hormones, and some of those things have not been able to be used in food products for many, many years, and so saying it doesn't have it is a little redundant and misleading to most consumers.
And I know it can be overwhelming and confusing to parents out there who are shopping and they want to give healthy food to their kids, and so if they have questions, contact you guys, right? And you'll get them to the right source.
That's right, and the main thing that people need to know is that the food that you find is safe, and we're glad to be able to provide it in an abundant and affordable manner for families across the country.
All right, Ruth, thank you very much, and you're going to be back a little bit later. Thank you very much for joining us.